Hi everyone, this is Balázs from RacingBrick, and today we are taking a detailed look at a LEGO set that feels very different from most recent releases. This is the new Maersk container ship, officially called the 40955 Maersk Dual-Fuel Container Vessel, and it marks the return of a LEGO collaboration with Maersk after more than a decade. At first glance, a container ship might not sound like the most exciting LEGO subject, but once you start looking closer, there are actually some details here that might surprise you. This is clearly a display piece and very much aimed at adults. That's why the 12+ age rating and the lack of the usual boring 18+ black box design is quite surprising. Finally, someone realized what kind of box a ship actually needs. If you are wondering about the name, it's called dual fuel because the real ship runs on green methanol as well as conventional marine fuel. On the back of the box we get a nice overview of the model on its stand, along with some highlighted features and the dimensions. One thing is clear right away. This is not going to be a small model, so let's open the box. The set has 1516 pieces and the retail price is 150 euros or dollars. It will be available from the 1st of March, and for local pricing please check the link below. Inside the box we get 17 numbered bags, one unnumbered bag, plus the manual and the sticker sheet packed in an envelope. There are quite a few stickers, but notably not for the containers this time. The manual starts with a shocking amount of extra information. Seriously, I can't recall any other recent LEGO sets with this many introductory pages, especially considering how niche the subject is. Other icon sets with a much larger fanbase often get half of this if they are lucky. I guess this is a special gift for fellow Danish companies. If LEGO is looking for ideas for more collaborations, I would absolutely love a brick-built Bang & Olufsen Biosan 3000. I just can't justify the price of the real thing, but it is simply beautiful. The part list itself is only 2 pages long, which means the set doesn't have a lot of part variation. However, it does hide a little mystery that we will come back to later. But first, let's look at a few highlights from the build. This is not a detailed building review, and if you take a look at the ship without the containers and then at the containers themselves, you will probably understand why. Let's just say this is not the most exciting build ever. There are some interesting moments in the hull. This section was attached to those small pieces. This one below is attached upside down using cross axles, while another section at the other end is built sideways. The bridge hides some small Easter eggs, but it's not really designed to be accessed once the model is finished, so you mostly see those details during the build. There is also a brick-built engine section, complete with side windows and these drawer-like structures on the sides. According to the instructions, you can pull them out and rotate the tow ball. These represent the gangways, the movable ramps used to access the ship. And yes, there are 66 dark red fence pieces. Then we get to the containers. There is some variation between them, and the tiles are printed, which is nice. However, there are only 3 different patterns, so you can't really create very different custom arrangements. And I have to be honest, this part of the build is not particularly exciting. The ship sits on a solid display base, and once everything is assembled, the model feels quite sturdy overall. And here is the finished set. I knew the dimensions on paper, but I was still surprised by the size of the final model. Now let's talk about the color, because everyone talks about the color. LEGO had several Maersk sets in the past, and they used a very distinctive shade of blue. The official name was never Maersk Blue, but that's what everyone calls it, and you can even see that name used on Bricklink. This changed with the 2014 EEE set, which used Medium Azure parts, very similar to what we see here, so this should also be Medium Azure, right? Well, I'm not entirely sure. If we go back to the part list, something very interesting shows up. Every single ID for those blue pieces is new. Every single one. The parts themselves aren't new shapes, but for some reason, all of them received brand new IDs. Now, this isn't without precedent. Cool yellow and even plain old white were refreshed in 2025, as documented in an excellent article on New Elementary. So this raises an interesting question. Could this be the first set using a refreshed version of Medium Azure? Here's the Speed Champions 4 GT placed next to the ship, supposedly in the same color. Different surface finishes reflect light differently, so it's hard to tell on camera, but I'm very curious to see what others will say about it. All things considered, this looks like Medium Azure, possibly a refreshed version, but more research is definitely needed. One thing is certain though, this is not the return of the old Maersk Blue. It is worth mentioning the color matching of the stickers. It's not bad, but from certain angles, the stickers appear noticeably darker. So, is this set worth 150 euros or dollars? Honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't buy it even at 100 euros, simply because I'm not interested in the subject. And if you compare it to something like the Ford Model T, you get significantly more Lego for just 20 euros more. Looking back at the 2014 EEE set, that retailed for 130 euros or $150 at the time. Adjusted for today's prices, that would be well over $200 and around 175 euros. So technically, this new set is cheaper with a similar piece count, and it also has more prints and fewer stickers. The current going rate for the old model on Bricklink is well above 300 euros sealed, so there's clearly some interest there. Beyond nostalgia and people working in shipping, I'm honestly not sure who else would want to display a container ship on their desk, but let me know in the comments if you're planning to buy it and why. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe with notifications, as more exciting LEGO videos are coming soon. See you next time, bye bye.